You are listening to a White Cloud Mystic guided story. This is a continuance of the Wayfarer's Point series, Chapter 2, The Tabletop Inn. In this guided story, you will be brought to a subtle level of relaxation before being drawn into a magical world of fantasy and wonder. Find a comfortable position, relax, and enjoy. I'd like you to start by taking in a nice deep breath, allowing the air to fill your lungs and letting it out. Let's go ahead and take another lung-filled breath in and let it all out. Very good. This is your opportunity to fully unwind. So let's start now by relaxing your body. Continue to allow yourself to breathe easily and deeply as we bring your awareness to the top of your head. I'd like you to imagine there is a gentle and light pattering on the top of your head, like a gentle rainfall. This gentle rainfall sensation will serve to relax and awaken your senses. Allow the gentle pattering sensation to travel down over your forehead and the back of your head now. Now bring that sensation over your eyes and your nose. Gentle pattering over your cheeks and your mouth, your chin, down the back of your head, where the base of your head rests on top of your neck. Go ahead and bring that gentle pattering sensation down over your neck and throat. Gentle pattering like rainfall. Let's bring that sensation down onto your shoulders now. The gentle pattering. If you like, you can bring that gentle pattering from your shoulders and run it all the way back up the back of your neck to the top of your head. You can play with that sensation a little. Enjoy it. Very good. Let's bring that gentle pattering sensation now down your upper arms and down. Gentle rainfall sensation onto your forearms and now onto your hands. The sensation is enjoyable, relaxing and tingling, the light pattering of rainfall. Let's allow the gentle pattering up onto your chest now and wrapping around you to your upper back and moving down now to your middle and your middle back. And you can maintain the pattering over all the parts of your body that we have visited so far, or you can just focus on the one area that we're paying attention to, whatever you prefer. Bringing that sensation down onto your belly and your lower back, as if gentle rain is falling onto your lower belly and your lower back. That gentle pattering feeling. Let's bring that sensation down onto your pelvic area now. And allow yourself to take a nice deep breath in and let it all out, relaxing a little bit more. Very good. Let's bring that gentle patterning now to your upper legs, all the way around your legs. And bring that sensation over your knees and the back of your knees, down your lower legs now, your shins and your calves. Gentle patterning over your ankles now, the tops of your feet, and the bottoms of your feet. Let's take a few moments to play with moving that sensation, that gentle patterning sensation, concentrating it from the bottom of your feet and then having it travel up to the top of your head and back down. Just play with that gentle patterning for a little while. Enjoying the playful sensation of it. Letting yourself relax, but also being very aware of your entire body and your ability to sense sensations in your entire body. Very good. When I begin Chapter 2 of Wayfarer's Point, I would like you to allow whatever images or experiences that come to you to simply be. You may create a vivid visual world, or you may not. Simply allow however your mind and intuition interpret the story for you, be as it is, knowing that everything is just perfect for you. We last left our magical land, riding off into a distant cloud atop a black Pegasus. We had adventured around, meeting a few characters available to us in that world. Now we are returning, but this time we are returning from the stars. For you see, we are all stars in this world, hovering above a magical land, just waiting to cast our light down onto the surface, allowing ourselves to be drawn in. I'd like you to imagine yourself drifting contentedly in a velvety dark sky. The darkness is soft, smooth, quiet, and gentle. You easily drift and float, relaxing, waiting for the spark of inspiration. And there it is, a light flash, tiny in the distance, a bright pulsating light. Your eyes connect with the light, and you speed across both time and space toward the light. You feel yourself zipping across space, quickly drawing closer to the light. It grows larger and larger in your view. And as you come closer and closer, you realize this isn't a light, but a world. You stop your speeding to gaze down on this world. You see perfectly white clouds drifting high in the atmosphere of the world. Peeking through the clouds down below, your excellent eyes can see all the way down to the ground. You see the happenings there, the vividly bright yellow-green grass, a forest, a towering purple-hued mountain. You see a small village. You even see figures moving about. Are you ready to go down, to explore this world in depth now? Very good. 3, 2, 1. You realize you had drifted off. You're waking up again. Your head resting on your hands. You sit your head up and take a deep yawn, looking about yourself. You are sitting at a dark oak wooden table inside Tabletop Inn. You see the red-haired bartender up at the bar. He's wearing his green plaid cap and his apron, drawing out an ale mug with a rag, as he always does. You have a wooden cup sitting on your table with some of the coins you left about it to pay. You notice sitting to your right, at the table near you, is a large, long-haired, brownish-gray squirrel. The squirrel has black, almond-shaped eyes. You've seen this squirrel before, helping load a small cart of nuts for the forest sprites. Now it sits next to you, watching you as you reorient yourself. "Hello, squirrel," you say to the creature. "Hello," says a male voice inside your head. You feel surprised for a moment, but then you remember this is a magical place. Of course, some things will simply speak mind to mind. You say to the squirrel, "I'm wondering what I should do while I'm here." Right, I know. Is there anything of special interest, do you think? You ask. The squirrel looks at you calmly, with a faint look that he is thinking. Then you hear his voice in your mind. "You could seek the traveling stone." You ask, "What's the traveling stone?" He responds in your mind again. "It is said there is a large diamond in the center of the mountain. The diamond is whispered to give whomever holds it the ability to travel anywhere in the blink of an eye. Most folks around here aren't interested in a large adventure, but you might be." You smile at the squirrel, for indeed you are interested in a large adventure. You say, "Thanks for the tip. I think I'll go ahead and do that." Then you begin to slide off the dark wooden bench that you were resting on. The squirrel's voice sounds in your mind again. "You're welcome." Then he twitches his tail and bounds out from behind the table, past the bartender and out the front door. You pause to watch the squirrel a moment, and then turn back toward the bar. The bartender gives you a wave as you catch his eye. You walk over to the bar, and the bartender puts down his rag before giving you a smile under his bushy red mustache. "Did I hear you were after the traveling stone?" he asks. You respond, "Well, yes, I just heard about it. It sounds like it could be a fun adventure to have here. Do you know much about it?" I know a fair bit. At least the bits folk bring me from here and there," the bartender says, nodding at a group of dwarves, drinking and laughing in one of the corners, and then at the open window outside. "There is a lot of information to be had if you know how to listen," he adds with a wink. You smile at the bartender, then say, Is there anything I need to know before I head out? I know the mountain is off in the distance a few days' walk from here. I'm sure I need supplies, you say, trailing off, to take stock of what you actually have here. You look down at your outfit. You are wearing exactly what you imagined you would be wearing in a magical place like this. But you're surprised to see that you don't have any sort of supply bag. You look back up at the bartender, who is watching you with kind eyes. Looks like you'll be needing a bit of sustenance and traveling gear. I may have just what you need here. The larger man bends down under the bar to rustle through what you assume are shelves or bins back there. His head still below the bar, he starts handing up foods. Soon a pile of 2 loaves of bread, a large block of cheese, a small jar of either jam or honey, 3 apples, a carving knife, and a water skin are atop the counter. The bartender lifts fully up now, a little red in the face from straining, and lays a travel sack and a rolled blanket across the whole lot of it. Your eyes take all of the supplies in, and you let out a happy chuckle. The bartender then proceeds to carefully place all of the goods into the travel sack, wrapping the knife in a thick cloth before loading it. This should do you nicely for the next few days' walk, if'n you can't catch a ride from some kind of creature or another. Confidently you reach for your money pouch, which is always loaded full of gold coin, and pull out 3 coins for the man. He smiles broadly and accepts the value. A fair exchange for a fair exchange, he says, and puts up a finger, remembering something, before he turns to a wooden cabinet nearby. He opens the doors with a creak, and you catch a delightful smell of a sugary baked good. He turns, holding up a fresh apple tart, covered in glazed apples. Your eyes light up, and your mouth starts to water. This one's on the house, Seeker, he says, chuckling at how excited your face is. He hands you the tart. You take the flaky dessert into your hands and inhale deeply. The sweet apple scent sending shivers up your spine from excitement. Lifting the tart up to your mouth, you bite into the crunchy pastry. The buttery flakes give way to the sugary, tart apple middle. So delicious. You sigh with delight. The bartender watches with happy satisfaction and places a cup of water on the bar for you. He wipes his hands on his apron and looks thoughtful for a moment. You continue to enjoy the apple tart as he begins to describe the journey ahead. The traveling stone is one of the many magical wonders available in this world, he begins. The stories about the stone describe it as a large diamond, hidden down an old crystalline mine somewhere near the top of that mountain out there. Rumor has it the mine used to bring up some of the most amazing jewels and treasures back when it was in business. I think I heard the only reason the mine closed down is because everybody who worked there was so rich they didn't even need to work anymore. Fancy that's a pretty good reason to put up your feet at the end of the day, wouldn't you say, Seeker? With a final bite of apple tart in your mouth, you swallow and nod at the bartender. You reach for the mug of fresh, cool water to rinse it all down. He continues, There are many ways up the mountain. As many ways as there are folk to walk it, I suppose. Whichever way you take will be the one for you, so you don't need to worry. Then he adds ponderously, Even the path to the mountain has many twists and turns, if you take the detours. It almost seems like he's speaking in riddles at this point, but you don't feel bothered. Your belly is satisfied by a fine pastry, and you feel confident in the value of the rest of the supplies in your new travel sack. Well, I suspect you'll be wanting to be on your way now. Heard enough of my rambling. If you need anything else, you can always come back to the inn, and I'll do my best to find you what you need. The name is Hugh. You smile at the man and tell him your name, and reach across the counter to shake his hand. Nice meeting you. I'll be seeing you again then, he says before flipping his drawing rag up onto his shoulder and walking over to a wash basin tucked behind the bar. You pick up the loaded travel sack from the counter and feel the weight of it in your hands. You easily slide the pack over your shoulders, and it balances nicely on your upper back. The weight of it feels comfortable. You take one more glance around the inn before walking out the wide open door into the sunlight. The sun is bright outside of the inn. You raise your arm to shield your eyes, and it takes you a moment to adjust your eyes to the brightness. When your vision has cleared, you see all of the bustling about of this little village. You see the same brown-gray squirrel you spoke with earlier, off to your left, down the dirt path a little ways, sitting on a tree stump. The squirrel is watching you, but also looks to be bartering with a small forest sprite. You see the green-clothed sprite gesturing at a nearby miniature cart, then watches his hands land back down on his hips. You allow your gaze to drift off of the business exchange and land on the nearby fairy castle. There are many fairies hovering about the castle, and you can see from their different styles of flight that some are more orderly than others. You remember the 2 playful fairies that led you to this world by way of the Willow Cave. You continue to look around yourself. You notice a few more human-sized buildings around than you noticed the first time you were through town. They are made of wood or stone. You hear the knocking of steel on an anvil and assume there is a blacksmith around. You also see the blades of a large windmill turning in the wind a little ways beyond the other buildings, over their thatched roofs. You're glad to know this is a full-functioning village, and you're experiencing a growing curiosity about what sorts of magical creatures live and work here. You decide to wait to embark on your great journey until after you get a sense of the village. The dirt path seems to lead right out of the inn's doorway, curving its way around the fairy castle across from you, before continuing off toward the other structures. You begin to walk along the path. To your right is the open meadow that leads off into the distant lands, and eventually to the great mountain you will be exploring. As you are walking the path, looking at the meadow, you are amazed to see, bounding out of the meadow toward you, 2 young centaurs, creatures with human upper bodies leaning out of full horse bodies. The centaurs are definitely children, and they are galloping playfully closer and closer. It appears that one is male and the other is female. Both of the boy's horse and human portions of his body are brown and white, like the color of a painted horse. The girl's entire body is a ruddy brown. They both have long hair that is loose in parts and braided in others. They are laughing and filled with breathless excitement from what you assume is the end of a long race with each other. They slow their gallop as they come into the village and trot past you down the path, toward where the blacksmith sounds are coming from. Curious, you follow the dust of their trail. Around you bustles more activity as you take the path further. You are passing many buildings now. Some seem to be businesses, and some seem to be dwellings. A group of little children of mixed magical beings run by you. You notice a few elves, a dwarf, a shimmering tree spirit-looking creature, a flight of fairies, a goat-footed and horned fawn, and a very large butterfly in the boisterous group. A mother elf stands on the porch of a cottage to your left and calls out, "Anlith, I don't want you playing magical potions again." A young boy elf, whom you assume is Anlith, falls out of the group and yells back, "Don't worry, Mother. We're playing Rescue the Eagle Egg today." He rejoins the group, and the satisfied mother elf finds a comfortable chair on her porch and opens a book. Distracted by the young group, you hadn't noticed a great dire wolf strolling down the path toward you. Its great mouth open, calmly panting, its tongue loosely hanging over finger-length teeth. You step off the path to watch as its muscular body silently prods past you. You are coming closer to the blacksmith shop now. The building is about average compared to the others of the village, except it does have a large awning covering a work area. The work area has an anvil, a furnace, a large work table, barrels of water and other liquids, and many tools hung or laying around. You can see that the smith is a green-skinned woman, and she is hitting a large mallet onto the anvil. She may be some sort of ogre. She's very tall, very muscular, and is easily working the mallet. You see the two young centaurs standing and chattering nearby, outside of the fencing of her working area. You walk past the open door to the shop area of the smith's building, and very fine weapons catch the light as you walk by. You're close enough now to see that the blacksmith is forming what looks like the end of a spear. The green-skinned woman notices you and says gruffly, "Be with you in a minute. I just have this to cool and finish." You watch as she lifts the sharp metal with a set of tongs, then dips it into a barrel. She lifts the tongs up, and you see drips of oil pouring off the metal. She lays the spear end onto a thick wool blanket to further cool. The two centaurs are watching her work intently as well. The ogre now picks up a smooth, sturdy length of notched wood and carries it over to the spear end. She inserts the spear end into the notched wood and begins to secure the metal by tightly wrapping corded leather around it. She works quickly and efficiently. The centaurs are watching you watch the blacksmith. You get the feeling they are studying you. The ogre speaks, handing the weapon over to the white and brown centaur. "It is finished. Bring this back to your mother. Let us see if she can break this edge so easily." The boy nods, holding the weapon across both hands. He smiles at the ogre and says loudly enough for you to hear, "She isn't the priestess for nothing. Her strength and leadership are not to be tested. Thank you, Aruk. Here is our coin." The reddish-brown girl centaur hands the ogre a pouch of coins. "Be well, young warriors," Aruk the ogre says to them. The two centaurs back away from the fence before walking very seriously past you down the path. You can tell they are young, but now you admire their presence of strength and prowess. Aruk the blacksmith is watching you. She begins to speak, her pointed teeth shining. The centaurs are some of the guardians of this world. You would do well to always respect this place when you visit here. You feel surprised that she knows you're a visitor, but then again, it's probably obvious. She continues in her gravelly voice. Would you like something from my shop? A question is starting to form in your mind, and you begin to explain your thoughts. I'm beginning a quest soon to the mine, on top of the great mountain out there. I've only visited here a short time. Is there any reason I would need a weapon of any sort? Aruk squints her eyes at you a bit, then breaks out into a big toothy grin. No, she says, confidently, unless you are looking for that sort of adventure. This is a place of choice and magic. Only the experiences you wish to test yourself against will find you here. You feel a sense of relief. You quietly affirm to yourself, I would like only fun adventures here. Aruk looks you over. I can offer you something you might like to take on your journey. Wait a moment here, she says, and walks into her shop. The strong green woman comes back out after a few minutes, holding what looks like a metal torch or flashlight base. She hands you the object. It's surprisingly light for how sturdy it looks. The metal is smooth and cool. It certainly looks like a torch, but there aren't any lighting mechanisms in it. She then reveals a round orb from a pouch in her other hand. The orb is incredibly bright. This is a light stone, Aruk says. The base will hold the stone securely when you want it out. She holds her hand out for you to give her back the base. She inserts the light stone easily into the base and spins the combination around, showing you how secure it is. If you're going to the mine in the mountain, you will need light, she adds, shrugging. You smile at the Lady Ogre and say, This is perfect, thank you, Aruk. You tell her your name. She nods in acknowledgement. You then ask, How much does this wonderful tool cost? 5 pieces for the base and the stone together, she responds. You find your heavy gold-filled pouch and pull out the 5 coins needed. Enjoy your journey, she says, then adds, If you would like a little more flavor to your experience in this world later, I'll tell you when you need a weapon. You respond, Oh, thank you, Aruk. I'll keep that in mind. The woman turns and heads back into her shop. You slip the lightstone out of the base and back into its separate pouch. You then slide your travel sack off your shoulders and bend down into a squat to add your new items to the bag. You're glad you felt drawn to follow the young centaurs, as you hadn't thought about needing a light in the mine. You begin to have the growing sense that, no matter where your adventure will take you, if you follow your intuition, everything will work out just fine. This concludes Chapter 2 of Wayfarer's Point. If you have enjoyed this story, please like it, subscribe, write any comments, and share it so others can find it too. I will be posting more chapters of this story as time goes on. As of now, posting schedule for this is a little erratic until I see a lot of interest in it. As you are waiting for the next chapter, you can find most of the content I produce right here on YouTube, including guided meditations and my podcast. I also have started a Patreon community for like-minded seekers, and you can find that updated link below. If you'd like to show your support of my work with monetary value, you can do that on the Patreon account. And I also have a Ko-fi link below if you'd like to just do a random donation and buy me a coffee that way. Your support is always really appreciated and helps me to continue to feel encouraged and producing this type of work. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.